The 2022-2023 NJCAA Women's Basketball Division I regular season and district championships have come to an end. That means it's time for one final event, and it is really the main event, the 2023 Division I NJCAA Women's Basketball Championship. And today, we will break down the bracket for you. I'm John Gross. So happy to have you with us on the NJCAA network. 24 teams, 16 automatic qualifiers, 8 at-large bids. Let's give you a look at what this tournament format is. So here it is. You see 24 teams in all, seeds 1 through 8. They receive first-round byes. Those can be automatic qualifiers. They could also be at-large teams. The district champions, they receive the automatic bids into the Women's Basketball Championship. And then, of course, there are the 8 at-large bids in addition to the 16 automatic qualifiers. Seeds 1 through 8, they receive a first-round bye. And without further ado, let's learn who the top 8 seeds will be in the 2023 NJCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship. Our number 1 seed, the Lady Jets of South Georgia Tech. They lost their first game of the season against Gulf Coast State. They have not lost since then. 32 consecutive wins, a 7th straight tournament appearance, 10th appearance overall. All of them have come since 2010. They bring back multiple All-Americans from a season ago, a dynamic team. They are the number 1 overall seed in this year's tournament. Our second seed, Eastern Florida State at 31-1. The Titans enter the postseason, one of the hottest teams in the nation. They lost on January 1st. That was the last time that they lost, the only time they lost, in fact. 15-game win streak. They picked up a win over number 6, Northwest Florida State, in the district final. Their calling card is on the defensive end of the floor. Top 5 defense in the country, holding teams to less than 49 points per game. The 3rd consecutive tournament appearance, 4th overall for the Titans. Moving along to our 3rd seed. How about Trinity Valley getting into the action? The Mid-South District champions. The Cardinals, who upset number 3 Blinn in the district final, will make their 28th tournament appearance. That is the 2nd most all-time for any program across the nation, and it is the 16th trip in a row. A proud program that has won a whopping 8 national titles. They will look for number 9 this postseason as the 3 seed. Number 4, Southern Idaho, the Rocky Mountain District champions. The Golden Eagles enter the postseason, winners of 17 consecutive games. They have not lost in the 2023 calendar year, winners since December 17th. The 3rd consecutive trip to the postseason for a team that was a 6 seed a year ago, ended up losing in the 2nd round after receiving a first-round bye. At number 5, we have an at-large team in Blinn. Blinn College, the Buccaneers out of the Mid-South. 6th tournament appearance, all of those coming since 1989. They were ranked number 3 in the final poll. They did lose to Trinity Valley Community College in the Region 14 championship, but Blinn College, the Buccaneers, in the postseason as an at-large in the 5 spot. On to our 6th seed, Jones, the Gulf District champions, 25-3. The Bobcats enter the tournament, 19 consecutive victories for a team that is so good on the offensive end of the floor. Top 5 nationally with 83 points per game. This is their 7th consecutive tournament appearance. Perhaps the most impressive part about that, all of those trips have come since 2016. They made it to the semifinals last year as the number 23 seed. This year, they're in as the 6th seed. Now on to the 7th seed. It is the Midwest District champs, Wabash Valley, 30-1 on the season. They lost the first game of the season against 3 Rivers on November 5th. They've won 30 games in a row since then. A 6th consecutive trip to the postseason for the Warriors, 10th overall appearance. They were the 5 seed last year, got a first-round bye like they have this year. Unfortunately, last year they lost in the 2nd round. They'll look to make a run this season as the 7th seed. And our final first-round bye goes to an at-large selection, Northwest Florida State College out of the South Atlantic District. The Raiders making a 13th tournament appearance. They finished the season ranked number 6 nationally, lost to Eastern Florida in the Region 8 state title. They picked up a national title just 2 years ago in 2021. They'll look for another one here in 2023. So, a recap, our 8 teams who receive a first-round bye, the top 8 seeds in this tournament field, they received the first-round bye, and South Georgia Tech at 32-1, the number 1 overall seed of the 2023 NJCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship. Now, happy to be joined by the head coach of the number 1 overall seed in the tournament, James Frey. Coach, your South Georgia Tech Lady Jets, a 32-1 season, number 1 overall seed. How does it feel to come into this tournament as the number 1 seed?
I mean, it's a special time for our young ladies, obviously, and for our school. You know, I think, honestly, there's probably 13 or 14 schools that could be in this spot. I think there's a ton of parity this year, probably more than I've ever seen. And so, you know, I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the opportunity. But at the end of the day, we still have to go win games.
Well, you've won a lot of games this year, 32 of them to be exact. After losing your first game, you've won 32 straight, including your 300th career victory. What's been working for your team this season?
I just think we've got great chemistry. You know, we got 9 returners from last year, a team that went to the Sweet 16 in the national tournament. So we've got young ladies that have played together. We've got young ladies who've been through the battles together. They know expectations. They understand, you know, what it takes to be at this point. They work really hard. They do the things we ask. It's a unique bunch in that there's very little selfishness. You know, we've got 9 sophomores. You can only start 5 of them. And so everybody's accepted a role, you know, and at the end of the day, winning and moving on is everybody's goal.
Well, you just said it. You have a lot of experience on this team and some significant postseason experience. I'm curious, what did your team learn from last year's postseason trip?
You know, I think more than anything, what it takes out there. You know, they got to watch, you know, the nation's best really just in that environment, you know, day in and day out, prepare and then go play. And so I think they have an understanding of what we're about to get into. And so they know that our preparation has to be really good. They're very aware that the number 1 seed the past 2 years has been defeated in the first game they played. So it speaks to the volume of competition and how good it is out here, out there. And so I think more than anything, just the understanding of what's about to come.
This is the 10th trip to the postseason for South Georgia Tech, 9th trip under your leadership. How have you built such a consistent program that year in, year out gets to the postseason?
I think it's, I don't want to be cliche, but I think it begins with our culture. I think, you know, we're in rural Georgia, in Southwest Georgia. And so for us to recruit young ladies to our area, there has to be a culture in place that's going to help them develop as people first, then students, and then athletes. I think the big picture for us has been to graduate, and we've graduated every young lady I've ever coached here, and to move them on to the next level. And so they've been able to do that. And so I think more than anything, just having successes and taking care of young people really help them mature and grow and understand that there's a bigger purpose out there than basketball, but basketball is an avenue that they get to use to realize that purpose. And so I think our culture has been a big part of our success.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time today. Clearly, your Lady Jets have been winning on the floor and in the classroom, and we wish you the best of luck this postseason.
Thank you. We appreciate it, and thanks for all you guys are doing.
Intensity fuels these champion student athletes to greatness. Zurich Insurance is proud to be the official provider of student athlete insurance for the National Junior College Athletic Association. Throughout the highs, we cheer along to their screams of victory. Throughout the lows, we support them through their tears of defeat. Zurich Insurance, helping student athletes play the sport they love.
have a little birthday message for you from someone too.
I heard you really love basketball. You're a good shooter and a good dribbler. Happy birthday, MJ, and I hope you enjoy your day.
Thank you. You're welcome.
We have learned the first 8 teams to qualify for the NJCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship. Let's meet the other 16 teams who will be playing at the Rip Griffin Center in Lubbock, Texas. Here's a look back at the first 8. And now for our 16 seed, it is Barton. The Cougars, the Plains District champs, 28-5. This is their first appearance since 2008. They defeated Coffeyville 60-56 in the district final to reach the postseason. 17 seed, Moberly area, the Greyhounds, the Central District champions. How about an 18th tournament appearance? That is the 4th most all-time for any program, the 4th in a row for the Greyhounds. Last year, they were a 15 seed, lost in the opening round, but the 1982 national champs will look to make a run here in 2023. The 9 seed, Shelton State, the South District champs at 30-3. Got off to a slow start this year, lost 3 of the first 4 games of the season, but have won 29 consecutive games since then. And they're really good both sides of the floor. 3rd of the nation scoring offense, and they lead the nation in scoring defense. An 8th consecutive trip for them. They will be matched up with Monroe College from New York. The Mustangs at 16-14 of the season. A 3rd tournament appearance for Monroe College. 2nd in a row after being a 24 seed last year and losing in the first round. They're a 24 seed again here in 2023. Moving along to the 13 seed, it is an at-large selection. Dodge City gets in out of the Plains District. The Conquistadors will be making their first appearance in school history. Congratulations to Dodge City, who finished ranked 10th in the final poll. Dodge City will be matched up with New Mexico, the Southwest District champs. They upset number 7 Collin in the district semifinals to get to the finals, ended up winning there, and now making a 9th tournament appearance, back-to-back trips, and all 9 of their appearances have come since 2012. They were the national runners-up in 2019. We'll see what they can do here in 2023. The 12 seed, Eastern Arizona. The West District champs, just 1 loss on the season for the Gila Monsters, 29-1. Their 5th tournament appearance, all of them have come since 2014. Their lone loss this year, a 4-point loss against Coach Ice on February 1st. They have won 8 consecutive games since then. And the number 21 seed, North Dakota SCS, the North Central District champs, 29-4 record for them. They had a blowout win over Highland of Illinois in the district final, won 113-53, a 60-point win, the 7th national tournament appearance for the Wildcats. Keeping things rolling, the number 15 seed, Casper, the champions of the Northwest Plains District, a 30-win season for the Lady Thunderbirds, 14th total appearance, 4th in a row, and the 6th consecutive season that they have won the Region 9 North title. They enter the postseason on a roll, 17 consecutive victories. Moving along to the 18 seed. How about Walter State? The Senators, 19th tournament appearance, 3rd most tournament appearances out of any program, and they have made it for the 3rd consecutive year. Walter State will be playing in Lubbock, Texas. They took down Chattanooga State in the district final by 10, and they are the 18 seed in the postseason. Down to the 10 seed, we have another at-large team, Collin College, with a 29-2 record, their first ever tournament appearance and a historic season for the Lady Cougars. They set a school record with the best season record, most wins in a season, and they are in the postseason for the first time ever. And they will be matched up with Coach Ice, the at-large selection out of the West, the Apaches, making their 5th all-time appearance. Coach Ice, 6th in the nation with 15.1 steals per game. They're not a fun team to play against. They get all up on your grill and make life difficult for you. Moving along to a 14 seed, another at-large. It's McLennan at 27-4. McLennan finished number 11 in the final poll. 2nd all-time appearance for McLennan. 1st since 1984, so it's been a while But congratulations to McLennan qualifying with an at-large. And they will play Murray State, the Aggies, the South Central District champions. Back-to-back appearances, 5th appearance overall. You look back to last year, they were the 21 seed, lost to Western Nebraska in the first round. They will look to roll here in 2023. Gulf Coast State, another at-large team, the 11 seed, making it after a 24-4 season. The Lady Commodores have made now 16 tournament appearances. This is a program that has become a powerhouse really since the turn of the millennium. 6 national championships, first in 2003, their most recent in 2019. And our final team, an at-large team, Three Rivers. The Lady Raiders get in for the 3rd consecutive time out of the Central District. Last year, they were the #1 overall seed of the tournament. They lost in the second round. This year, they finished 19th in the nation, finished 6th in the country in points per game, and 3rd nationally in steals per game. Make sure to stick with us on the opposite side of the break. Let's take a look at our bracket here. This is the 24-team field. Remember, the first 8 seeds, they get a first-round bye. The tournament will begin on March 22nd and to the 27th. All games can be seen on the NJCAA network, and the championship will be March 27th, 8 p.m. Central Time on ESPNU. We will be joined by a very special guest at the other end of this break. Darren Paneer, the D1 Women's Basketball Committee Chair, will break down the bracket after this.
Intensity fuels these champion student athletes to greatness. Zurich Insurance is proud to be the official provider of student athlete insurance for the National Junior College Athletic Association. Throughout the highs, we cheer along to their screams of victory. Throughout the lows, we support them through their tears of defeat. Zurich Insurance, helping student athletes play the sport they love.
Great seats at a great price. Get them safer, simpler, and smarter with Ticket Smarter. A proud partner to the biggest names in live sports and events, including ESPN events and iHeartRadio. Ticket Smarter has seats for over 125,000 live events and 48 million tickets for sale. All backed with the Ticket Smarter 100% ticket guarantee. Thinking about your next great live event? Think smarter. Think Ticket Smarter. Get your tickets your way, guaranteed, at Ticketsmarter.com.
Welcome back into the NJCAA Division I Women's Basketball Selection Show. We know the bracket. Let's learn a little bit more about how this bracket came to be. And there is no better person to talk about how that happened than Darren Paneer, who is the co-chair of the D1 Women's Basketball Selection Committee. Darren, thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me, John. Appreciate it.
Let's start at the top. South Georgia Tech, 32-1 on the season. They have won 32 consecutive games entering the tournament. Was there any discussion with anybody else involved for that top seed, or was it pretty clear cut?
It was pretty clear cut. They held the #1 seed for several weeks in a national poll, and Coach Frey has a team that this year that hopefully they'll finish up #1, right? When you do the bracket, you want #1 to win it out. So they play great competition in Georgia, and they also, get out of their own district and go to Florida and play. And their only loss is Gulf Coast. So it was a little discussion, but not a lot. And they held #1 pretty quickly on the committee's ranking. So.
Well, let's talk about a team from Florida, #2 seed, Eastern Florida State. How far behind were they from that top spot?
It wasn't the flip of a coin, but the committee felt that South Georgia Tech deserved #1, and Eastern Florida right behind them on their heels. Eastern Florida comes out of Florida Region 8. Region 8 is well known, as other regions and across the United States, are very competitive day in, day out. And once you win your region in Florida, you're pretty salty, In Eastern Florida, I give them kudos. The last 2 years in the national tournament, they have done well. you know. They got a great program, and they always make a good run towards the end of the national tournament. So 1 and 2 was pretty easy to get to.
22 and 23 seeds, Three River and Coach Heights. Those are the 2 lowest seeded at-large programs. What was that conversation like? What separated those 2 programs from the rest of the potential at-large contenders?
Well, the committee discussed really hard in the last 2 at-larges. There's other teams that were considered, and we just looked at ins and outs, little national history of both teams, their regions of the national tournament, et cetera, et cetera. It took a little hot minute to get the 2 at-large, and Three Rivers and Coach Cheese were the 2 last at-large, and you know, they did the body of work and they made the tournament. So
a lot of repeat participants in the tournament, a lot of programs with rich histories making it to the tournament. How did seeding this year's bracket compare to years past?
Great question. I would say this year's seeding was I wouldn't say easy, but it was I think overall, to be honest with you, John, the committee, you know, this isn't something that we just wake up Sunday morning and draw out a hat and place 1 through 24. Throughout the whole year, the committee really takes consideration the very first poll to the end of the regular season before the championship dates really, you know, the region and district start, that they really look at everybody. And basically, the national poll is what we tried to use as a guide for the seeding. So the seeding part of it was brutal, but at the end of the day, I think it was a little bit more right in front of us this year than it has been in the past years, if that makes sense. There wasn't a lot of surprises. You know, I do my own seeding, and I was really, really, really close to the top 1 through 24. I mean, my number 9 might not have made the committee's report, and it was number 8 or vice versa. So it's pretty solid. The committee does a great job. I mean, I'm, you know, chair of it, but the committee puts a lot of work in it. A lot of data goes into the seeding, and, you know, we're not perfect. You know, the NCAA, look at the NCAA. They sit around in a room for 4, 5, 6, 7 hours, try to seat their tournament. And we know what happens in March. Madness.
Well, you only have to look so far as last year to find some madness in this tournament. A 17 seed won it all a year ago. I'm curious, does past tournaments, does that impact at all how you go about seeding teams in a year like this year?
It is product criteria, is the history and the past experience of the national tournament. And last year was 22. So, you know, we know what happened in 20, the pandemic, right? And then the spring of 21, everybody played from January until end of March, and we had a national tournament in April. It was very hard that year because there's not a lot of cross-region play, right? Not a lot of teams going out of their state to play other teams, correct? So, and last year was the first year kind of out of COVID, if that makes sense. And I made a comment on this show that there could be some upsets in the tournament. This year, I feel better that there's going to be less upsets than it was last year because we had more cross-district play. We had something compared, you know, apples and apples instead of apples and oranges.
Okay, makes complete sense. Darren, thank you so much for your time today. Thanks for all that you do for NJCAA. And hey, go get some well-deserved rest.
All right. Well, thank you, John, very much.
We'll be back after this.
Intensity fuels these champion student athletes to greatness. Zurich Insurance is proud to be the official provider of student athlete insurance for the National Junior College Athletic Association. Throughout the highs, we cheer along to their screams of victory. Throughout the lows, we support them through their tears of defeat. Zurich Insurance, helping student athletes play the sport they love.
I have a little birthday message for you from someone too.
I heard you really love basketball. You're a good shooter and a good dribbler. Happy birthday, MJ, and I hope you enjoy your day.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Congratulations to the 24 teams who will be duking it out in Lubbock, Texas at the Rip Griffin Center for all the marbles. What a season it's been for all of you, and we wish you all the best of luck. A reminder, the tournament will begin on March 22nd, will end on March 27th. All games can be seen live on the NJCAA network, and the championship game on the 27th, 8 p.m. Central Time, nationwide on ESPNU. Big thanks to all of you for joining us today. Congratulations again to all of the teams. On behalf of all of us at the NJCAA, I'm John Gross saying so long from our NJCAA studios.